Welcome to tonight's video for the daily and weekly chart bull and bear breaks, brought to you by Premium Alerts, SwingTraderSetups.com. If you're interested in our charting package, don't forget to get over to the website, click on Ninja 8 charting package. You can read about it, and you need to get over to YouTube and pick up the videos. That are going to walk you right through the process of downloading Ninja and installing it. No charge to install. It's got free in-to-day data, and we show you how to walk through the process. We're going to keep building these tutorials showing you about this right on the chart alert. We have tutorial videos coming out more tonight. The next step you'll be going, and this second video talks about setting up your data feed, so you're recording the data so that when you get the free trial, you're ready to see how this charting system works. You got a 7-day free trial with that. We're running that. You go to our website, it's going to be $69 sign up, just like you do for our chat room or our alert system. Whatever you want to use, it's $69 full website. As long as it's running, all the components are there that are at your disposal for that $69 a month. That's also your continuing license fee for this product. You try it out for 7 days. If you don't like it, I'll refund your $69 to you. If you do like it, then you pay $149 one-time setup fee. Set it up to get you all the layouts with the charts already pre-built and so forth, as well as the license fee for all the indicators that are in there to keep them running. And as long as you're a subscriber, your $69 a month fee, you'll maintain your license on the charting package. You don't even have to come to the website. You can use the charting package any way you want to use it. But those are the first 2 videos out there to help you get started to set up the free trial. Trying to help avoid the cost of having a data package just so you can try it out. Okay, on the market, see how short we can make this video tonight. Here we are on the Dow. Went down yesterday, tested the trend line and closed above it. Today we did the same thing again. Nice little inside doji day. That don't mean we don't gap down in the morning, break this trend line, come up and hit it from the bottom side and collapse. Who knows? This is how you read the chart, and that's how you make your decision based on what you see tomorrow. Let's look at the SPY and the SP 500. Now, before when we were looking at the market going up, we were hitting the 50-day on the SPY, and the S&P 500 was not there. Now it's the opposite. We're hitting the 50-day on the SPY is below the 50-day on the S&P 500 as the market progressed today. We were coming down here on the SPY, and the SP 500 had already been there right about here. This is before 2 o'clock. Go back to the SPY. I think the SPY was later in the day. That's about the same time. Here's the SPY 50-day, which I think it actually had changed slightly. Let me check that out. 274.47. No, I did update that already. I updated this earlier today, but it's changed a little bit, so we're going to update again. 248.07, 27.48.07. And we'll get that alert set for tomorrow. So we actually closed below the 50. This is SP 500. Let's get on the daily chart here. We're still above the trend line. This is what we were talking about yesterday. We want to go down, we'll hold this trend line. We're probably going to test the 50. Well, we tested it. We're slightly below it on the close, but we held the trend line. So that is good. We need to open tomorrow. Maybe a gap up would be awesome. Come back, pop this line, and go. That prepares you for long trades if that's what happens. If this gaps down tomorrow, well, especially if it gaps way down here, it's going to come back and hit this line and probably reject it. I don't think it'll go that far, but it could definitely gap down in here, and it could spend 3 days in this little cycle right here. It could gap all the way down to this lower trend line, grab it, and could really slingshot back up, especially if the Dow comes along with it. Now, we were looking at the Dow a minute ago. You know, if it gaps down and goes up and reverses, it could pull the S&P with it. But the S&P, in my opinion, is still the key factor here. We'll look at the futures real quick. I'm going to break this down on the 10-minute here. We can kind of tie into what happened today. I'm sorry. I want to get on the S&P or the SPY one here. This was our initial sell-off. Then we had this nice little run up. Some long trades came in well, and then we had this huge sell-off all the way back to test the 50. So this is shorter term price action with the AD and the SPY overlaid together here. AD line start down here, and the market kind of slides on down. Didn't really go that far on the market. There was a lot of items that were selling here, so there was some good shorts right in that first little bit there. But this was real early, and then we kind of got that little bounce mid-morning, and the AD lines led the way on the SPY here. Just kind of, the SPY was already grinding up, so I just let the AD lines guide me when I want to get in a trade. And then we got this nice long sell-off where the SPY went actually down and hit the 50-day right here on this low. That's when the SPY hit the 50-day there. After, looks like almost 2 o'clock. A little easier to follow pictures running that on a bigger time frame, a bigger setup on our algos. You get the longer picture and take all the chop out of the picture. So here you got this first thing this morning. You got the gap up, sell off all the way down, leading into pre-10 o'clock, the chopping around. Then you had about 10:20, you got this nice little pop in the market. And then we started back down, and then pretty much from just before noon on, we had a lot of big decline in stocks. Really good trades showed up right here. This was the meat and potatoes for trading today on day trading. This is a positive note on the futures. I've been running this chart for days. It's coming down into where I like to see it hold, so it could go a little lower and still reverse. But this is where, this is how our charting system works. We break, we revisit, we go. So maybe we're revisiting the 50 and we still got plans to go. The bigger picture, shorter term trade, been here intact for a couple of days, is we broke down on the 14th, and we had the little midday bounce and ended up closing lower. We went into the bear zone, or red zone, not bear zone, red zone, and now we're back at this kind of this trend line on the futures. So got to get through the trend line, and this little indicator on the shorter term says, you know, we can go here and we can come back. I meant to go to the bigger time frame. So if we can come back, we may end up back down here before it's over with. And that kind of ties in with what I was saying on the SPY a minute ago, that we may spend a little time in this little spot right here. That's kind of tying those two things in together before we get this bounce ahead up. You know, this trend line, if we grind our way down for a few days, this can actually be where those futures are lining up for that cycle to go back up. So I'm not bearish on the market. We just got to trade what we got to fool with right now. If we're day trading, you definitely, unless your chart is really got momentum in whatever direction, I wouldn't rush into any trades right here for any kind of long-term setups. Let's get over and take a look at these charts here. We got weekly bears. We got let's see, most of these net change. I'm comparing the profit from the trigger to the daily, and if our daily's bad, way bigger than this, then we hit it today. So that's a new one today. Celgene, new one today. Yesterday, this was on here. This was on here yesterday. New today, and so forth. You see how I'm following that? If this profit is not very big compared to the day, then it came in today. So a lot of these showed up today. You can pause the video, you got your list there to look at, you got the levels to look at where they triggered off on the weekly, and we're going to go over the charts in a minute. Weekly bull, ACHC, one of those been on here for a couple of weeks, so it's just re-hitting the new levels that's being calculated as it goes up. Here's your daily bears that showed up today. Many of them are late day. You can tell that the P&L from my trigger price is not near as much as the overall down day, so most of these came in through the day, probably toward the end of the day. And these were our few bull breakers. Of course, AXLN had a big gap up this morning. Now, this was a monster short during the day. And we'll take a look at the charts in a minute, 3-minute tutorial, and we'll get right to them. This is a mini tutorial on what the lines mean on my charts if you're a first-time viewer or been a while since you viewed. We're scanning on weekly and daily charts for my condition. When this green line is up, it's my bull zone, and when the red line is up, it's my bear zone. You need to be aware of support and resistance lines and what charts do at levels, and that's what these levels are for. Just quickly as I can do this, and we're going to put a video on YouTube getting more from your swing trading charts that'll be more detailed and look at more stocks, how they react to these lines. But the gist of what you see here is this is what I'm scanning for, and as you can see here, this showed up in the bear zone. It did go down for a few days, but these green lines are support, and that's why it fought for a few days, tried to bounce back up, headed back down again, came right back into the bull zone, bear zone, excuse me, and continued on down. Now the lines, here's what they represent. A green line is a place that a stock went up to and rejected. So as this green line redrew itself every time we made highs right here, and then it stayed across here for reference points, continues the same line here for reference points. Resistance, when you get above it, becomes support. This green line was drawn way back in the history, and when this stock broke above this resistance level, when it came back down, it held it, it held it, it held it, it tested it and held it again and again. That was support. That's why I want you to be aware of what these lines mean. You'll see them on my charts. And then the activity that stocks do, sometimes they go, that's my first target, that's my second target. Many times stocks go target 1, pull back a little, target 2, then they may pull all the way back to 1 and go again if they're continuing an uptrend. In this case, it did the pull back. This blue line is a 50-period moving average. This orange line is a 200. So that's what I want you to be aware of as well. And then I have a pivot system that consists of this blue line at the top, yellow line at the bottom, and my target 1 and target 2. You'll see this particular day this stock gapped down, huge gap down, open way down here. The low on this stock was 169.68. I'm getting that right out of this box over here. And the value of that yellow line was 169.67. Within 1 cent, it held that line and bounced that day for a huge bounce. It's not a support level, but it's where I look for stocks to try to hold. It's where I look if I'm short, say from here, this is where I'm looking to get out. I'm looking to move 2 levels, target 1, target 2, going up, target 1, target 2. The pink lines all represent places the stock has gone down to and bounced. This pink line is referencing this last pivot low. So as you're selling down into it, it may bounce again. If you get below it, then it becomes resistance. And that's all these lines mean. I just want you to know what they mean going forward. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get started. Through time, I've got several comments and emails from viewers that don't subscribe to our services but do watch our videos and basically say, hey man, I'm getting some good trades off your videos. I wish there's a way I could contribute, and I don't want to sign up for a membership. So I finally went and made a donation button. You can find it 2 places. On any video, we're included at the bottom. You just click the show more button, and shortly down there you'll see support our channel, a donation through PayPal. You can click right here. pay through or make a donation through PayPal. Any amount you want to put in there is acceptable and appreciated. And then on our website, you can go to daytradersetups.com, press the YouTube menu item. It'll take you to this page, and there's a donate button there as well. And we appreciate that, appreciate the suggestion, and thank you ahead of time for any donations sent. We appreciate it a lot. Okay, we're going to walk through these. One of the new ones, been selling for days, so it's just building momentum for weeks, excuse me. It's just building momentum down as we go into the newly calculated bear zone. It did breach this low here last week, so it's still struggling, and had a pretty big wick on the daily today. So there was some buying down here. It's got to get back over this level here to hold right here, 43.95, and it's been a downtrend for a while. This is nothing new here, so it's not a new setup at all. Sell Gene. Let me clean these lines up. Actually, going to leave them on here for a minute. Remember, these lines were drawn back here on this gap down day a few weeks ago. I'll leave them here for a long time. Look how they kind of came back into play last week. We were bouncing around down here, but they're back in play now. There are a lot of buyers down here, and some of these will line up on a weekly. These lines, this 88.26 is lining up right back here with this 88.32 is the value. There's a line back here, so I'm gonna actually put that back on 88.32. I want to edit it and get it just right. I'm gonna put it like 2 cents above it actually. And if it goes back down there, I might want to know about that. And I'm gonna run that out for about a week. On your daily, get this where we can look at it again. You got your sell gene trying to come back into this area. It went in a weekly bear zone. It's what we have here. And here you are. This is your weekly resistance. Is what's the problem here is this old support line way back here. The value of this line is $93.05. That's your problem now. It's going to be a problem till it gets above it and goes back and retest it. You could draw you a nice trend line right here and leave it there for a long time. This is a weekly chart. You see where you're at. It's trying to get it above it, but it's below it. It's got to get back above this trend line. It may test it again. It's definitely got to get over this line and retest before you're going to go back up on this stock. And they just brutalize this stock, and nobody wants to buy it. Not a broken company, just a broken stock. Just a repeat from yesterday. This is a repeat from yesterday. Just a little grinding, small day down again today. Brand new today. Six Flags coming in here, losing this weekly support line at $62.69. You got a daily line over here. It has bounced in this area before at 62.26. It's trying to hold there. Actually closed above it. That's a place it not this low, but back before this a couple of weeks ago. So all this is tying in together, and this is where it needs to get back above and stay. $62.69. It is in the bear zone. It's kind of breaking this consolidation on the weekly. First little sign of weakness, and it could gap down, go back up, and test this level. This is a key level if you're trying to trade this. $62.69. A reject there can send this thing a lot lower. SLCA, pretty long little sideways consolidation here on the weekly. Goes all the way back into last summer. If you want to look at more of the chart, it goes way back there. And it's been building momentum here. It came in a few weeks ago, if you remember. That's why we show you the chart. Bears on alert. Bears on alert. Same thing here. TECE. Just big day down the other day. First of all, monster day down, gap down, and then a huge day down. So whatever's going on here is where you're at on this. This is definitely not a consolidation break. It's down at the bottom side of everything, and it has slight momentum to the downside, and it could break down and go further. It's got some support lines down here. Places it's held recently are not too far back. It's done this before, so maybe it'll hold this level here. And TEX 50 week here. We looked. This is actually on here yesterday, so it's just a repeat. Get over to the daily bulls. We got 3 on there. This has been here for, actually showed up this week or last week on the bull. Excuse me, this week on the bull. We've been seeing it on the daily. Still building momentum. Nothing wrong with this stock at all. And there's just a look at your daily as you continue up. You see where we first featured this way back here on the 14th day of February for this nice big run up here. ACIA. I'm on the daily. I need to be on the weekly. This has been on here already. And AXIS actually showed up here yesterday too. It's been here all week, just sitting here. While you're here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Twitter or StockTwits at Daytrader Setups. And our website is daytradersetups.com and swingtradersetups.com. Don't forget, this video is being brought to you by our premium alerts at swingtradersetups.com. They're real-time alerts. They're posted on our website, and we're looking at our bull zone weekly and daily breakouts, and our bear zone weekly and daily breakouts that are in one category on the website. And there are other categories that are more aggressive for the more active trader as well. And by having a subscription to that service, you get all these alerts intraday as they happen, and one subscription gets you access to everything, as well as our chart system. If you would like to get it, I can set you up a couple of different ways to have the green and pink lines available for your charts as you review. Let's go forward. Okay, we're on our daily bear list now. I started with Aetna. Has been in sideways consolidation for quite a while, and it's got momentum building to the downside out of this consolidation. I used to trade this a lot. It's been so choppy. You see all these little candles so crappy on the daily. I hadn't traded a long time. I'm going to put it on the chart tomorrow. I really like what it just did right here as far as finding some more downside. It'd be a good trade in this for the next couple of days. Not really. Well, yeah, it's a lot of consolidation going back for even before now. It's just been chopping around here and actually getting tighter and tighter and tighter. You could draw you a nice wedge pattern around this. It's not going to be a big day trader, but it is getting the momentum to the downside. BBY, Best Buy. Out of this consolidation up here, it's a daily chart, remember. We are getting momentum to the downside. And you did lose a 50-day 3 days ago. It's your blue line there. This is kind of chopped around down here before. This is just kind of getting a little more momentum to the downside. Did lose a 50-day yesterday. CARA. A while since I saw this one. Out of this choppy consolidation here is building momentum to the downside. This thing generally likes to trade in a hurry, so it may head on down here. Now this is a little stock I'm sure you could have brought some pretty cheap options on up here a few days ago before this momentum got in here. This is a prime example. Some of you guys won't know why I only watch 400 stocks over on the big website. This is the kind of stock, I can't watch them all. You could have picked this trade up back on January the 25th. This went into a trend shift on a 25 factor chart, which is pretty big for this price stock. And then it gave another setup that it actually broke down on the 13th. So you're already in your downtrend, broke down on the 13th into the fresh breakout of this sideways motion it had for a while, and headed on down here the last 2 days. Share this chart with you. This is Kara on the 13th, setting up for this downtrend where it kind of broke this trend, mini trend, that consolidation you were looking at there, and headed down. I just sent this over here just 1 minute ago just to show you. So it broke into the down to our red zone. So it's moved around here on the 13th, kept rejecting. Got your great opening here, 14th and 15th. Look at your move you got here. That's a big move. And that's a cheap priced option you could buy on that even if you didn't want to trade it, and could have made some good money there. And I'll show you now. This is, so you know you're in the downtrend from the 13th on. You can chart this on our charting package. You can scan for this change in green zone to red zone here, and you want to go look, and like we teach, breaks down too deep before it goes red zone, it's going to revisit exactly what happened. I keep showing you this stuff over and over and over, and it keeps repeating itself. This was the bigger picture. January the 25th. Broke down, revisited, had a little chop in here, so went red zone, green zone, back red zone. And this is the VWAP, just happens to be on this chart that stayed there for every day. The second line, the pointy line, is the indicator. Back into the red zone right here. Now keep in mind, when this goes on, well, you see this little green and yellow marks down here. Right on the chart, there's a box that tells you you're 1x or 2x away from going to red zone. So as this went back up, it immediately told you, hey, we're going back red zone here, possibly, and it gives you the trigger price for it. Right on the chart, to the penny. So when it triggers the short, if it triggers down here, just like this, it can go back up and revisit. We teach you how to work the chart. But here's your setup. You went into this sell-off at $16 back in January. Here you are 3 months later still selling. So there's your swing trade setup. Or you take the pattern you're already in, and there's your option trade setup for just a short-term trade, or even a watch list for today for an intraday trade if you like to trade this stock or trade around this stock. This is how you read it. We're putting out the videos on that, and the charting package will be released in the next 2 days. Next bear zone in this consolidation, here's CERN. This has got support right here at $61.53. That's where it needs to hold. CF coming into the bear zone. This is more of momentum from this move down. This is not a consolidation break. Widen this back out just a little bit. Go back to CERN. First day on this in a long time. Is that support though, and you got another support level down here, but it's building momentum to the downside. It's been in a multi-week consolidation. Here's your weekly for a month. You've been there about 8 weeks now, 7 weeks. CVS, first day on the list, losing support. You lost a weekly already back here chop, 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 can't get through it, can't get through it. So what do you do this week when you can't get back through it? You sell off. There's your 4-day sell off in CVS because it can't get back through resistance. Here's your daily chart. That's that same line. Fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, gave up. Now you're in the bear zone again, and you lost this support area going way back into November. You see that on a weekly chart. You can find you that 66.45 level that it lost today. DWDP. This is a real choppy. I wouldn't really call it consolidation, but it is got a little momentum showed up to get on the bear zone today. It is at this supported level it's held in the past. It's also sitting on the 50-week right here. It was there a week ago. Back to retest that. Broke the 50-day today into the bear zone. Definitely a consolidation here. First signs of acceleration out of the consolidation and lost the 50. Intraday chart broke down pretty good this morning. It was already breaking down, and then it hit the bear zone level at 52.83. That's right in here, right before it broke down that old low, another old low it took out. See how these little lines work? Here's an old low. So what did it do today when it broke the old low? It went back and retested it. Just happened to line up with VWAP as well. That's the reason it stopped. It had nothing to do with the VWAP. It's the old low, $53.50. It's where it held before. It lost support. It retested it and said no thank you and went on down. That stock really set up yesterday for what happened today. FGEN, another one opened at the 50-day and headed down. And this is a bigger consolidation. So it is kind of breaking out of that, but it is getting momentum for 2 days. Here's our little momentum indicator. Call it my power indicator. And this is when we broke into the bear zone today as we broke through the level here at $52.46. Had the momentum actually showed up yesterday, even though it had a green day. First day that showed up. That's the 3 things you can scan for on our service over there. It's the momentum indicator, the combination of the momentum and the bull zone. You do the bull zone by yourself if you want to, but I like the momentum with it. And you can also do a bear zone in this case. You can do the charts where I was showing you the red to green change. Green zone to red zone, trend shift. Definitely up consolidation here. This is a big bearish candle. I don't trade this stock. It don't have a lot of range, but that's a definitely bearish candle. On your weekly, it's kind of topped out here on this recent multi-weeks ago. It's kind of that same level there. Had ran up real well, pulled back to my little pivot line on the weekly. And these are my, this is not my trend shift pivot. This is some pivots I set up a long time ago. These are basically floating Fibonacci's. You see how well they work. Part of the charting package. You can put those on weeklies, dailies, 15-minute, whatever you want to put them on. I like them better on the longer term charts, but on sell-off stocks or gap-up stocks, and you get something selling off like on a 5-minute chart, it's way up here. This is usually where it catches it right here. That's a 38.2 retracement. HP on the daily, definitely consolidation, breaking to the downside, getting a little momentum. I'm putting this one on chart myself. This is a big, nice setup on this chart today. This is intraday daily on this chart. Lots of sell-off, not huge here. Yours $2 and some change, but nice setup leading into today's action. This stock actually went in on our downtrending list on the 13th. Way back here on the 13th. This little run here today, still downtrending all day yesterday, just not much of a move on yesterday's charts. Just kind of chopped around all day, still in a downtrend. This morning our little retracement alert actually hit and rejected, and the trigger for the down was 64.44 right in this area right here, right after they opened. This is a 10-minute. So it hit our retracement levels right here, kind of like that's kind of what our red zone, green zone is. Almost an automated trend line, and where we expect it to hold when it tries to go back, if it's going to maintain the downtrend, and it held just right, and we give a trigger off of that right on the chart. A little box shows up with the trigger price, and when you already know the setup, and it's telling you exactly where to come in this at 64.40 something, triggered this off to the downside. Classic VWAP rejection again for another great setup. That would have been a great trade. I did not see that chart. My server, where I run out my evening reports, crashed 2 nights ago. It's brand new. I just bought it 6 weeks ago, I guess, and so it's going to be repaired, and all my end of day stuff is on that computer. And with NinjaTrader, you can't move from machine to machine to machine. All those custom indicators are tied to one machine. Definitely consolidation on the daily, getting momentum back to the downside today. SMG, Scott's Miracle Grow. Uh, 200 day right here, guys. 200 day. Got the momentum early this morning and continued on down. Huge 2 days in a row. Don't know anything about this stock. Something's going on there to move that kind of move there. I'm sure if you're watching this stock, you already know about that. WBA, Walgreens, just like CVS, I guess, it's been chopping around, getting a little more momentum to the downside. You got some support areas down here. Weekly chart is not really pretty. Rejected the 200 week, but that's where you're going to revisit most likely. Maybe not. You may hold this little trend line here. It needs to go back up tomorrow. And the letter X. This is on a weekly chart. It's done quite a pullback after that run up 2 weeks ago. And lost a 50-day yesterday, hanging in here. You probably could draw you a trend line back here somewhere and try to find that holding spot. We put this short zone on March the 9th at 44.50. That was way right here. This day, 44.50 triggered us into a short zone. So right up in here on that particular day. And you say, how could that be? It had not broke out across the bottoms. Well, it was ready to, wasn't it? Look at here, a little trend line. I don't know where that lined up at, but it was we were above 44.50 was above the trend line. Sets up your short zone for your longer term trend. You break down at the end of the day. You retest it the next morning. There's your great 3-day trade. Couple of bulls, not many at all. Got a breakout on this AABA on the daily. Kind of gapped up. This is a sloppy trader, but it's up at the highs. I guess if you own it, you don't care how sloppy it is. If you own it, you don't want to day trade that one. ALXN, monster setup today on this big gap up. Sold all the way back down here. That's a $13 drop. And I will share that with you right at the end of the video. I'll go back and show you that chart. Nettie's trying to get into the bull zone. Now this is in the bull zone. Let me back up here on ALXN. It's still closed high enough to be technically bull zone and have momentum. It may turn right around tomorrow and go straight back up. There's just a lot of profit taken, I'm sure, up here today. This is your resistance right here. You want to get back over 129.15. SMTC gapped up, pretty big range day for this stock. Something probably going on there. I don't know anything about that. I'll show you the weekly chart on it. WSM would be Williams Sonoma, same kind of little price action there on the daily, gap up. Lots of range. 53.64 low and a 56.37 high. So most of that range was in the open, 10-minute candle, and then you had all this chop all day. This is what I don't like to try to trade. I don't look at a lot of gappers for that reason. I just soon trade the easy stuff. I definitely want a big setup. And this could have gave some setups throughout the day. Very choppy stock. Last one on the list is Woo-Boo. We're going to look at that ALXN chart intraday, and then we're going to take a look at the recaps and get out of here. ALXN this morning, 10-minute chart, big gap up, sell off. Remember I showed you this line, how they like to sell into the line. That's exactly what you got there. I'll get on a 5-minute and see how close that thing lined up. Look at there. This is what happens. They run down in my floating Fibonacci on these big gappers, and that was the first bounce spot. That's part of our charting package. You got this line, this line, this line. This line all on your charts, you can turn off the ones you don't want. These two are a pretty big deal. So that's how you can utilize that in your trading. Went back up though. Where did it go? Went to the upper line. Now, our other chart that I want to show you is all of this I don't even want to look at. If you want to scout that, that's great. This is what I want to look at, is the trade that's set up about 11:30. Can't see the chart back behind us, but we teach that it comes down below the green zone and it hadn't turned short yet. It's going to bounce. It's going back up. That's what it did. It ran back up. That happened to be the VWAP you ran into there too on the way back up there. And then our red zone, just exactly like you see this on this chart. When this green line was up, you see the green line's up over here now, and it's causing this to show up. It doesn't show up on the chart until you get a yellow line, gives you a 2x, and then when you get the green line, they both show up, and the 1x is the trigger price. So this is saying it'll trigger to go back up at 129.70. That was at that time at 12.55 if it did run back up. But this was the big indicator right here. This came in, gave this alert just before 11:30, around 11:30, right in here just below 133. So right on the chart, or before this happened, when this yellow came up, it gave you this box saying short watch 2x. That tells you on a 25 factor chart, that's about 50 cents down, puts it to the penny. And then when it got within range for the 1x, it put the 1x up there with it and gave you the new price, which was actually going to be equal to the previous price in this case. And as it came back down, there's your trigger. This thing ran for about $7. You also see this retracement alert right here as this came down. When it ran back up here, we have a little box on the chart, and when this is a retracement setup, when it's going back, going to test this area, and it'll give the value that we're going to trigger it back down if it holds. So always putting a value up here, but this is what it's used for. It's when you're already in the downtrend, a retracement alert gives you what that trigger price is going to be. We want them to pull back. We don't want to catch them right at the top. We want to get a kind of a confirmation. And also on our system that we teach, when you get this bounce, if you don't have anything indicating this box being on the chart, indicating that, hey, this can flip back green zone pretty quick, then that makes this retracement reshort even stronger. So this is where this occurred here around 11:30, right in this area. And then it broke down, headed straight down. If you notice right here, it also gave the bear zone alert. Now, it was way down here when it gave that. We gave a little faster on our other setup. You can scan the bear zone on 15-minute chart if you want to with the charting system. You can run alerts for that, or not alerts, but actually a scan that will give you alerts, alert log. It don't present really a watch list, but it gives you a log on Ninja with the symbols in it. You can click the log list and bring your charts up. You can also overlay that line I just showed you right on the chart. So you can be looking at a 15-minute chart, or if this is a 5-minute, and see that line going red to green and the prediction box down at the bottom of where it's going to come in at. I don't expect you to read those. I expect you to understand them, and we're going to overlay them. This is what took so much time to get this made, to overlay this chart with it. Heading over to the recaps. This is the bear list. Today you just saw the list. Give you a chance to get a relook at that. Yesterday's list, and you can see how they performed today as far as heading more down. ARN8 down $3 today. Some of these just chopping around. Get you a look at the rest of them for the last 4 days down here. You can pause the video. You got the list to look at there. And a list I started preparing myself using this same report is I take the last 3 days. So tonight I'll take this day, and this day, combine them in a list that I want to run my scans on, because I try to focus in on a smaller list of stocks for day trading. A lot of times I never look at alerts. I got about 20 charts I'm looking at. I'm running these charts the way I'm showing them to you, and I pick my trades out right off the charts I'm already looking at. But this is a list I made of 1, 2, 3 days last night, and it became a watch list for shorts today. These ran up, these bounced, but they're still on charts and still can produce alerts. They're not on charts, but they're in my list for alerts. And then your downside ones was ARNA and CRI. Both gave the big nice runs. Signet still grinding around from yesterday. There's your list for the bears. Here's your list for the bulls. You see a little bit here. CNC had another good up day. We got this early this morning. This broke out yesterday. We had this yesterday and today. And actually was on my other charts as well. I picked this up yesterday morning early, and then today it just continued on up early. You can break this down on a 15-minute chart over here. We caught it on breakout yesterday, and then this morning you see it straight up off the open there. Really nice early run there. Yesterday hit the 50-day and pulled back, and then today it broke on back out through there. And that was the list I prepared from the 3 there from yesterday. And a lot of chopping going on today, all part of the market. That's the ones how they performed. Some of them pulled back, some of them went on up. And then you can see how they ended the day, if they got momentum still, if they're still in the bull zones. And then I'm going to try to pull this down when you can stop the video and catch this last little part down here. Thanks for watching our video. See you tomorrow.